What's everybody? It's time for another Talking with Topher. This is episode 289. It is October 16th, 2025. We're getting close to Halloween and we're still alive. Woo! Spooky times, right? Spooky. There's all kinds of spooky things going on today. We're going to get into a few of them, but before we do any of that, let me start off the way I always do by saying thank you. Thank you to all of my subscribers out there, all 4.91 thousand of you. Thank you so much. Looks like I had some upticks recently, and you are the reason I keep coming back for more. So please keep liking, sharing, subscribing, doing all those things. Thank you, everybody. And of course, don't forget about hitting that subscribe button. All right. It's what everybody's doing. So go be doing it. Set the alarms, new episodes, new shorts, and new clips every week. If you want to be a guest on the podcast, you want to tell your story, TALKIN with Topher at gmail.com. It's the official email of the podcast, and send an audio, video, or type it out. And then don't forget about the link tree. It's in the description below the video, along with all links discussed on this podcast today, including the mailbox guys and Cryptid and Kin. So go get some clothing, buy a mailbox, and don't forget to go and check out everything we discuss on here, along with my link tree. All right, everybody. So with that all being said, let's get into today's pod. All right, everybody. So what I'm got going on today is in 4 hours, I will be sitting on a table and doing those things that we have to do as we get older. So I'm not going to waste too much time on it, but it's colonoscopy time. And we got so much to get into today, I don't have time for that. So without further ado, let's get into the craziness that's going on. Starting out with just the simple fact of I've been told that Charlie Kirk is a terrible person. I have. Obviously, it's usually by opposing voters. There is as much good on Charlie Kirk as there is bad, depending on how you decide you look at it. Now, I look at most of his stuff as very positive, motivational, inspirational, and, you know, the fact that he would just open up conversations with anybody was pretty eye-opening and enlightening. Now, there were also things that were his beliefs because of the simple fact that he is, I believe, Christian. If I got it wrong, I'm sorry. I can't remember if I'm Christian or Catholic, so I'm a little dyslexic. I get my letters mixed up. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter to me either way, because every time somebody is super religious, all the things with the religion come with it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that no matter who you're voting for today, if they have any religious beliefs, anything that has to do with those religious beliefs can be implemented into government, because unfortunately, well, state and God go hand in hand. Always has, always will, and it's stupid that we say that it's not. I think that's kind of that's the way I feel about it. You know what I mean? I just don't understand why we say these things, but then we do the opposite of it every single time. And when people are extremely religious, they're going to say things like, if my daughter was beeped, I would make her carry that baby to term. You know, because his belief is not killing any children. Now, we as normal human beings hear something like that and go, well, that's traumatic. That's not good for her. That's not good for the kid. We go into therapy mode, right? So the problem is that there was so many conversations had, so many discussions open, and so many good things that you can take this list of 10 horrific things that Charlie Kirk has said, and I still don't believe it was that bad. You know, at the end of the conversation, of course, we all agreed nobody deserves to die like this. But I want to play a few more of his good things. We're going to get into some interesting things, and we're going to get into some weird things. So hang on for the ride, because Here we go.
I'm going to ask a very respectful question, as respectfully as I can. What does what they do in their private life concern you so much that you have to go up in front of a crowd and...
It is against God. That is
So let me ask you a question.
Are you a Christian or not?
Do we live in a
Christian.
theocracy, yes or no? No, do we live in a theocracy?
You said you're a Christian.
I am a Christian. And do you know what? And guess what? I will say this. Part of being a Christian is appropriately interpreting what the theological says for the individual, but also means to be long-suffering and patient and loving and kind. Jesus Christ talked to all people. Jesus Christ went and did his ministry through Judea and Samaria, and he had dinner with tax collectors, and he had dinner with prostitutes, and he did his ministry in every part of the Mediterranean. What it means to be a Christian, my friend, is to be open-minded but firm in your beliefs, so you can have that belief. But if you say there's something inherently wrong with communicating or associating just because they make different personal decisions than you, sir, are not a conservative. Thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, great things like that. Great things like that. Those are the type of conversations, man, that I've just been watching over and over again because they're literally everywhere. Now, there are some of the wonderful things that I've been told about that makes him a horrible person as well. You can find them. You watch them. Go ahead, watch them. See if it changes your mind about how you feel about it. I don't think it's going to change your mind how you feel about the situation. We can't vote for him anymore, so it's not going to do that either. But at the end of the day, look, this is what's going to happen. The other side is angry. This side is angry. Every side is angry. The reason that this is all happening is to divide us even further. If we're not seeing that bigger picture, then I think that's where the real problem lies, is because the more that the citizens become divided, the closer we come to a civil war. The closer we come to a civil war, the closer we come to literally destroying ourselves, which makes it easier for everybody else. I still stick to it, man. At the end of the day, everybody in the world wants the United States to fail. I'm sorry. I don't care if they're friend, foe, anything. Just because they said that they want us to doesn't mean they wouldn't encourage it if it was happening. You know what I mean? Like, and as for Charlie Kirk and it's weird, man. It's weird. Unfortunately, there's so many different things that you can pack into one, and when we start discussing them, it opens up 1,000. And unfortunately, you know, I think at this point in time, everybody, you just have to forget about Roe v. Wade. You have to forget about it. It's not going to come back anytime soon, if it ever comes back, ever. And we're going state to state. This country was built on state to state to keep the big government out. And yeah, I get it. People have empathy. I do not today. I'm sorry. I don't have a lot of empathy for people I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I care a lot about the people I do know, and that's a lot to deal with on its own. So to ask for more is just crazy. Do I feel terrible when terrible things happen? Of course I do. I'm human. I still go, man, that sucks, huh? But when you're worried about something like that, unfortunately, I think everybody is just at the point where they're going to have to pick and choose the state that they live in, and not everybody is going to be able to move as freely as some. But I think the state-to-state thing coming back and the federal government being pushed out is actually better for this country. I think it is way overdue. I feel like we have pulled the federal government so deep into everything that it just becomes this bottle that we're being fed, and it makes it easier to keep depending on them. And I don't think we need to be dependent on a federal government. I do think it should be dismantled. I'm a libertarian at heart, honestly, so I'm not big for government or control. There's lots of things that are going on that I do not really agree with today, but I'm still not as worried as I think I would have been. I wanted to bring that up and just kind of touch on that subject while I was rolling with this. So there is a million. No, I'm sorry. There's 5 right now. One of them I don't think is a possibility, and he just went to court. I think they're going today for Tyler's arraignment or whatnot. I don't believe he has anything to do with this. I think the whole thing's made up, and we're gonna see where I go with that a little bit further. But there are so many different theories about Israel and the stuff that he was doing and the pushback on that, and the journalists that followed him for over 10 years. And he was pro, and then he was pushing back. And right now they're trying to tell us that we're not allowed to say that these people are bad, and we're not allowed to say that Gaza is a genocide. And I'm sorry, I will never stop saying it. So you will have to take me down. This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life, and I cannot believe that we are still shaking hands with these evil people. I'm just absolutely disgusted in my government and my president. I really am. This is not where I thought we would be. We were supposed to end these fucking wars. We haven't ended wars, and you just keep going with it. And there is a slight possibility that Israel may have something to do with Charlie Kirk. But by the end of this today, I think you're going to be as confused as I am, but you might pick one that fits better for you than, you know what I mean? Because I've already got mine picked. So Charlie Kirk, man, possible Israeli takeout. I don't know.
I have less ability sometimes online to criticize the Israeli government about backlash than actual Israelis do. And that's really, really weird.
An easy way to know if you are controlled. Is there somebody or something that you're not allowed to criticize?
That's right.
Simple as that. If you lived in Nazi Germany, you couldn't criticize the Nazi Party. If you lived in the Soviet Union, you couldn't criticize the Communist Party of Russia. If you live in China right now, you can't criticize the Chinese Communist Party. If you live in North Korea, you can't criticize Kim Jong-un. If you live in Cuba, you can't criticize the Cuban Communist Party. If you live in America, who can't you criticize? Who can't you criticize in America?
The Jewish lobby.
Yes.
On both sides.
Right. That's right. That tells you who controls the country. You're not. The fact that we're having this discussion and we're on the edge, all right? Everybody knows here, this is the edge.
Oh, yeah.
Why are we on the edge? Because we're touching the third rail. We're breaking the taboo. You're not allowed to discuss the power of the Israeli lobby in America.
Dave Smith isn't allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
No, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to, though. No, you're not allowed to.
That's proof right there. They control America. That's who's controlling free speech in this country.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, there's more to everything always, and if they're controlling the narrative, then they can change it. They can do whatever because they're holding everybody hostage. And nobody can speak. And I think this is why big media is dying more and more, because of the simple fact that there are more and more people just speaking out always. Now, I'm not going to say that, everybody who got in trouble with what they said and what they did, there was some other things that I've heard, and I'm going to bring it up in a minute, but I just don't understand, thinking that this isn't happening. I'm telling you, they are our sleeping giant, everybody. They are part of it. Now, I'm going to talk about Erica Kirk, the wife. She ended up doing a speech. And the only reason I brought it up, and I'll just flash it real quick, we're not actually going to play it. It's 16 minutes long, and then the memorial, I believe, was like 48 minutes long, something like that. And so basically what I want to touch on is that no matter what anybody else thinks out there, you should never determine someone's grieving. I think that's weird. I thought the whole thing where people were saying that she wasn't grieving and this and that was just wrong, because I don't know about you, but when something traumatic happens, Some people don't show any emotion for weeks. So the one thing that really bothered me was the fact that everybody was like, she's not really grieving, blah, blah, blah. And I thought that was kind of insensitive in a way because, I mean, I grieve differently over who it is or what it is. You know what I mean? So everybody's going to grieve a little bit differently, but they were talking about the ring and the Masons and the fireworks at the memorial and how this has opened up her door for her political travel now. Well, if it is and she's good at it, well then, okay, I guess it's not a bad thing, right? But you know, I don't know. When people badmouth other people, like I'm sure the fireworks were a little over the top. I listened to bits and pieces, didn't listen to the whole thing, but I just felt like we forget that these people are also human and they're going through something traumatic. And for everybody, I guess I didn't read the comments. I never read your stupid comments, but I want everybody to leave comments on this. But I heard they were just terrible. I heard they were terrible. There was a lot of good things, but there was a lot of terrible things too. So I don't know, everybody. You should just let people grieve, even though, you know, this is a public stage and these things are happening. You're expecting them to act a specific way. They're not all actors and actresses. They're just people like you and me. And sometimes we don't always have the proper emotion at the proper time, right? It's pretty clear. So that was like the one thing that bugged me about all of that. And I think we just need to be a little bit more understanding. Now, this is when I started getting angry because I haven't seen the autopsy yet. And then I find this, right? This gets dropped on my lap. So we're listening closely to the dispatch audio. And as usual, like right now, we're just diving in.
So I did do the request. They emailed me back. He did not go in for an autopsy. The death certificate was signed by the doctor at the hospital.
Oh, okay. Can you just do a field clip documenting that?
I'm sorry, 10-9?
Can you just add a step to the case documenting that there was no autopsy?
287, I'll be clear to the hospital.
I need an officer at Timpanogos Hospital to come stage in the emergency room bay.
Jesse just told me that he just got off the phone and Charlie's wife is coming to signature and they're bringing a car over here for a ring.
Charlie's wife is coming to land at signature, you said?
Sir, and Jesse's going to go to Duncan right now and pick up a car for her.
Okay, I'm a little confused because Corey, that's what Corey just said. They said they're landing at Duncan, so I don't know where they're landing, but we will just kind of play it by ear, I guess, best that we can.
So wait a minute.
He's coming to signature and they're bringing a car. He told me that he just got off the phone and Charlie's wife is coming to signature and they're bringing a car over here for a ring.
Charlie's wife is coming to land at signature, you said?
Sir, and Jesse's going to go to Duncan right now and pick up a car for her.
Okay, I'm a little confused.
So as you can see, she's coming to identify the body, do the sign, the paperwork, and release it, right? I think you are releasing it to them for the autopsy, but they're not doing the autopsy. Why didn't they do the autopsy? Where is it when name anything that happens where somebody dies and there's never an autopsy? It's called a cover-up, everybody. It's called a cover-up. It's just that simple. This is a political assassination. This man was taken out, seen worldwide. We have 5 different possibilities of what possibly happened to this man or who could have done this to that man, right? This man. He And now, what? No autopsy? We're not going to get anything, the trajectory of the bullet, where it went in, where it came out, what the damage was that it did, how did it do its thing? So without the autopsy, we can't see the trajectory of the bullet, which means you'll never know where the bullet came from. Now, why would they not want you to know where the bullet came from? Well, I would assume that if it was Israel's military that took him out, they don't want you to know, right? Because then that would tag them. If it was the microphone, I might be getting a little ahead of myself, then you would be able to make that out. But they're not going to do an autopsy. They did an autopsy on a lady that was stabbed in Boston walking her dog. She got an autopsy. It was done. We're not getting an autopsy. These are the things we should be looking at and going, why? What is happening right now? Who's hiding what? Because this is evidence of a cover-up. When we're not going to or even attempt to have an autopsy with records that we can all look at to see how this went down, so we can try to pinpoint exactly who the shooter is, because sorry, not Tyler. Now, this I found very interesting because this was so interesting to me. So the shooting of Charlie Kirk, a comprehensive account of Utah Valley University attack, the aftermath, and America's response. Now, look at this.
Confirmed it. I saw this last night, and I
right there, everybody
wanted to wait and check. And a whole bunch of corporate publications.
So let me rewind that for you and hit pause. You can see where that red arrow is. Publication date is September 9th, 2025, everybody. 2025. They put this up. How can you sell a book like that? And then look, right here. I'm trying to dial it in a little bit more for you. Boom. There it is. So you got this right here.
Why does Amazon have the... And then there's this, and I'll play that to show you the stuff in a moment, but look at this. Let's put this on screen from Amazon. Put the full screen up, please. Why does Amazon have the... By Anastasia J. Casey, posted one day before he was... And then they updated it, and it's on the Internet Archive. That's been checked. It happened a day. September 9th.
Whoa, hold on. Did he happen to point this part of it out? Is anybody else reading the screen right now? If you're not, I'll read it for you. So the first one that was released on September 9th of 2025 is a Kindle edition. And then the one that was released on September 11th, 2025, the day after, is a hardcover, and it's currently unavailable. So still super odd, right? We are going to just kind of move on from this because that was the point of it all. There was a book about the shooting and how America's response to the aftermath, but it came out on September 9th of 2025. Now, okay, it's a digital audio. Well, no, it's just digital, right? Kindle's digital. So it's just a digital book. But how did you release that early? Who wrote this book? Who wrote this? But when did this thing come out? Because you have to write the book first. Most of the time, you write the book after it happens. We don't see a book drop on the shelves before an incident happens. Never mind a day before the incident happens. And then you release it as a Kindle edition, and then you re-release it as a hardcover. What's up with that? Is it just two different releases? Did they actually accidentally release a Kindle edition and then change their mind and turn it into a hardcover? I don't know. But still, my major question about this is you have to write the book after something happens. How do you have a book written before it happened? Just I don't know. I don't know. If you can figure it out, you let me know, because this was wild to me. I was like, wait a minute, who did this and how? Now, this is one of the things that I was touching on a little bit earlier about the people who were yelling and screaming and hip hip hooraying and just encouraging this type of violence against a political party and another human because you just don't agree. And, well, we all know you're losing. It's fine. But the individual recorded this, the spouse of a Lieutenant Colonel Adam Cole, who is assigned at Fort Carson. Now, just to let you know, this lady's a teacher, and she's no longer a teacher. That guy got dishonorably discharged, and he got let go. I'm not against this, because this is probably one of the darker things I've seen. Because when you are manipulating children or you're teaching children stuff like this, I mean, this is where our future is going, everybody. And this is how we get homegrown. The thing, I can't say it, right? God, I hate this. It's so much censorship. But check this out, man. I thought this was just, these are the people I wanted to get fired. These are the people that deserved it.
I have the best news ever.
What? Donald Trump died?
Second best news.
The vice president died?
Okay, third best news.
That Elon Musk died?
Okay, no. Nobody died. My best friend's getting married.
Which one is it?
Taylor Swift! Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged!
Okay, so let's just for a minute dive into that for a second. What kind of conversations are going on inside that house? What is happening there? And I do want to let everybody know this was a truck talk situation. I just forgot to bring it in up front. But what is going on in that household where what is she? 5, 6? Where your 5 or 6 year old and possibly a 7, 8 year old, the first thing out of their mouth in joy was that, oh, President Trump died. Yay. Oh, no. It must have been, is it Vice President Vance? Yay. Oh, Elon. What is going on inside that household to create these type of reactions out of these children? I'm telling you right now, it's nothing good. That is toxic. No child. I did not think about politics at that age. You want to know what I was thinking about at that age? I don't even remember, man. Maybe I was outside. Maybe I was putting firecrackers and bullfrogs. I don't know. I was doing kid shit. Riding my bike, skinning my knee. I didn't know anything about politics until I got into my 20s. The fact that these people are delivering these messages to children so young is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And if you don't think this grows homegrown people, then you're wrong. You keep feeding them this information from when they're this little, and it's only going to get worse. But again, that's what they want. They like this. They actually encourage this. And to sit there and tell the kids that my best friend Taylor Swift is getting married, well, isn't that a sign of mental illness? Do you think this woman is actually best friends with Taylor Swift? I do not. I don't even think Taylor Swift knows who this woman is. She's a mental case who, I'm sorry, when you get that obsessed about anybody on these famous people, the people, you put them up on this pedestal, you've already, taken a million steps back. You should never put anybody above you or your family. You can idolize, you can want to be like, but when you start talking about these people like you know them, like you're friends with them, you may want to go talk to somebody else because you're not thinking correctly. Okay? And that's what worries me the most, is that we're not going to call mental illness on this. I am. So this was awesome. Everybody needs to hear this. I'm playing the whole thing out. This was absolutely fantastic. It is a little lengthy, but it needs to be heard.
What is interesting here is, why is only this happening on the left and not the right? That's all we need to know.
What about
There's absolutely no cognitive...
What about Melissa Hortman that we just
okay, you want to talk about Melissa Hortman? Did you know her name before it happened? None of us did. None of us were spending every single day talking about Mrs. Hortman. I never heard of her until after she died.
She doesn't matter?
Wow.
Don't play that bullshit with me. You know what I'm saying is, there was no demonization, amplification about that woman before she died. It was a specific crime against her by somebody who knew her. The same. Now you could bring up Josh Shapiro, but then you will not bring up, for example, that was a pro-Palestine person. So don't use your, what about this? The fact of the matter is, the both sides argument not only doesn't fly, we don't care. We don't care about your both sides argument. That shit is dead.
Yeah.
For one thing, there is no cognitive dissonance on our side. On your side, your beliefs do not match reality, so you're coming up with these rationalizations like, what about this or what about that? We're not doing that because we saw it happen. We saw a young, bright man assassinated, and we know who did it. We are not coming up with rationalizations. We are calm, we are honest, and we are resolute. We're not defensive, and I understand the defensiveness. I understand why people are saying, what about this and what about this? Because if you have to face the underlying fact to this, your life is going to fall apart, because you're going to realize you're not the good guys. If you sat around and you defended the mutilation of children, you're not the good guys. If you sat 600, 700 cases of harassment against Republicans, and you said, but what about this? What about this? And then you see this murder after calling somebody a fascist, you realize, maybe I'm not the good guy. That is a hell of a realization to deal with. So therefore, you have to grasp at rationalizations. You don't have to do that, Jessica. They do. I don't believe you're part of that group, but why the hell do you have to mimic and echo that crap to us? He was a patsy. That guy was a patsy. He was under the hypnotic spell of a direct-to-consumer nihilism, the trans cult, and you know that. If you can decide that biology is false, you can agree that murder is okay and that humanity is expendable. How you cannot see that alone and see that for what the evil it is without having to attach all of these other things is beyond me.
I just want to be clear, and I want to let people speak. I in no way intended at all to minimize what happened to Charlie. I was horrified by it. I have not been on the five
but
since
the two
then,
sides argument, well, it's like pig Latin to a duck.
No. All that I was saying is could we have all of the information before you just say they did this? Because that is a broad brush to paint with this. And this kid
Let's
does
have a conversation.
No.
Charlie had a conversation. He got shot. Look, I'm sorry, Jessica. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You weren't here for a week. You came in here and it's cold. And I'm sorry, but this is a story that is immune to news cycles. It's immune to rationalizations. It's immune to bias. This thing is with us for good. And we all have to deal with that. So that means we can't live by the same arguments that you might be reading about relativism among the media. We can't deal with those stories. It doesn't matter. The media is dead to us on this story. They built this thing up. We're dealing with it. We're going to act. We don't care what the whataboutism is anymore. That shit's dead. Sorry. For the swearing as well. I apologize to the American public. I'm going to shut up for the rest of the show.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, he boosted her career that day. He totally boosted it. So, I mean, or destroyed it. Who knows? But, I mean, this is what I'm talking about, dude. Like, it's not about what about this, what about that. It's about this and only this. And no, he's absolutely correct. Anytime, even when Pelosi's husband got attacked in the house, everybody felt bad that Pelosi's husband got attacked in the house. But, I mean, you couldn't not see the humor in the whole thing that went down. So, no, it's not the same. We're not sitting there praising somebody's death or praising the fact that, like, we got an upper hand now, you know, one man down. No, we didn't do any of that. But we also didn't say anything at all. I think that's better. I think that's way better. It's better not to say anything at all, because the stuff that you saw those kids say is what's happening, and that is toxic, and those are the bad guys. All right, man, here we go. It was not Tyler, dude. I'm done with Tyler. I think this kid is a total patsy. I completely believe that this is all doctored, and you know, it's always grainy footage, but we definitely have some footage here showing that the roof video is AI generated. So let's check this out.
Proof that the Charlie Kirk roof video was created using artificial intelligence.
Palm and press. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop.
Look at the figure all the way to the right next to the tree and watch him disappear.
Yep.
There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a
no gun.
He did that. He left some palm impressions. There's some right moves to this far.
Proof that the Charlie Kirk.
So you can actually see. You can actually see the that person walking behind that tree as he's climbing over the building should have been on the other side of the tree as he was dropping out of the building, but that person just disappears. And you can see as he's coming over the top of the building, it glitches. It has a small cut in it. Well, what? What do you mean it has a small cut in it? Like when you play it on full speed and you play the video that they gave us to see, right? Because they gave it to us. That glitch is there. That silhouette is there, and it's in a much clearer picture. So when you start breaking it down and zooming in, it gets a little degranulated, and you can actually make out that person walking behind the tree and then disappearing. That's a clear edit. That's a clear edit, everybody. I edit my podcast every week. I've been doing it for 6.5 years. That's a clear edit. So why is there a cut on a surveillance video of a supposed gunman jumping off the building with the gun in his backpack, even though he limped to the building with it in his pants? I mean, it's just, the whole thing's stupid, everybody. Think about it. Gun in the pants, try to get on the building. He didn't have a backpack. Then all of a sudden, the gun's apart in his backpack. He puts it back together, and then, what? Fires it, takes it apart hot, puts it back in his backpack, and then puts it back together and lays it down in the woods? You can't take apart a firearm after you fired it. It's called a firearm because it creates an explosion and fire that gets hot. And guess what happens when things get hot? You can't touch them. So the whole thing is fucking fake. Has to be. Because none of it makes actual sense or would work in reality. They're trying to find Charlie Kirk's real assassinator. And there's a lot of these guys out there. One of them, Stu Peters. And he says he's figured it out. Now, I want to hear everything he has to say, so we're going to play this.
Tyler Robinson didn't kill Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's Israeli security detail killed Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Kirk's assassin is caught on tape. Blake Bednar has brought us this video. We'll break it down. Take a look at this. Here it is from the wide angle. Watch Charlie Kirk's right side of his t-shirt. Watch the lavalier lapel mic. Do you see it explode? Let's bring it in just a little bit closer. Watch this. Put it in a freeze frame. That is the explosion from Charlie Kirk's lavalier lapel mic. Want to see it again? Bring it in closer. Remember when we told you that that was absolutely an exit wound? Yeah, it is. Check the trajectory of the round that was deployed from that lavalier lapel mic. That went directly from Charlie Kirk's lapel. That went directly from underneath Charlie Kirk's white t-shirt up through his neck and created the exit wound that we told you was an exit wound immediately when we saw that exit wound. First we had exploding pagers. Now we have exploding mics. Do you remember the vector analysis from John Bray? That proves that all of the activity came from the mic that Charlie Kirk was wearing. Remember the palm gun guy in the brown shirt, that shadowy looking guy with the sunglasses? Yeah, he pushes the detonator. Clear as day.
Counting gang violence. Great.
That's the assassin. That's the guy that pushes the detonator, which perfectly aligns with the explosion that pushes that projectile through Charlie's right side of his neck and out the left side, creating the exit wound.
I mean, if that's true, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. And like everybody's been talking about, this is like the this is the newest one that has just recently come up. So this is the fifth one. Is that mic was set up as an explosive like the pagers. Now, I'm not saying it's not a possibility. I do believe that a lot of people do have the possibilities and capabilities of doing these things. And if his security detail was Israeli, then it is very possible that that could have happened. So it's not something that I'm not thinking about, but I mean, we got 5 different possibilities right now. Another one is that there was a whole assassination team. I mean, I'm not sure, but I like hearing the ideas, because the more ideas that we hear, the more we can look into everything and hopefully come to the same conclusion. Or maybe we can see another hole, because we're going to find all kinds of holes. That's what they want us to do. They don't want us to ever figure this out. This is never supposed to be figured out. I'm telling you right now, that I definitely believe.
Okay, I want to start off this video by telling you that I think that this was a professional hit team that was going to take out Charlie Kirk. And I want to show you, I think I can prove this, that we had 3 different shooters on 3 different roofs, or we at least had 2 different shooters on multiple roofs, because I don't think you could be in all 3 locations at the same time. But the one video we don't have a clear timestamp of yet, and I think it's going to be very important to get that. So I want to show you what I'm seeing, and then you guys let me know what you think. Okay, now the first thing I want to do is I want to come over here and show you this video by HustleBitch_. So if you guys aren't following HustleBitch, please give this man a shout out. He's been absolutely crushing it. He's the first one to get this video. Okay, this is the Woodbury building. Now watch, we'll scrub back to the beginning where you see the shooter over here on the roof. They catch him right there in the corner. That's the little guy right there on the roof. I don't know if I can get that thing to drop down, but so he's on that roof on the Woodbury building. And according to HustleBitch, he says this is 12:06 p.m. Now I've reached out and tried to ask for the original source if they could take a screenshot of their cell phone and show us the actual, or whatever device it was on, to prove that it was 12:06, because this is going to be really important. Now the next video I want to show you is this one. Now I don't know who actually shared this first, right? But what does that say right there? That says the Sparks building, and we got a shooter up there.
Yep.
Okay? Stick with me. Now the next building we got, and you can tell by the shape and everything, this is the video that the FBI shared with us, timestamped at 12:23. Okay, all of these videos are very important. Man, I'm actually kind of shaking. I'm so, like, this is crazy to me that we're uncovering this. Okay, so you have a man running on this roof, moving around on this roof. They're seeing, so he's obviously trying to be on probably like the edge of that building. We'd have to figure out where that sign is, where you can actually see, and I believe this was the area right in here. Okay, if that sign is on the front of that building, then this is the edge of the roof where this gentleman was at. Okay, but he was at 12:06, so he still had plenty of time to get in position. Now they're telling us that Tyler took the shot right here at 12:23. So somehow this man would had to have gotten down off this roof, went all the way down over here, and got up onto this walkway again to climb back up onto this roof. Now 17 minutes is plenty of time, okay? Now this, I think, is the man who took the shot. Now what I want to point out is it's the Sparks building. So where at, because this man is in this prone position. He's the only person that we see on a roof in a prone position. He's on this building right here. And I think he's right there. And why? So look at these circles right here, right? You can see those circles in the pavement. And watch this. See those circles right there? That's that brown circle. That's that brown circle. That's these circles right here, right there. So that leads me to believe, if my analysis is right, and I would need you guys to fact check me on this and help me out on this, that puts a shooter in the prone position at an undetermined amount of time. Now this person, whoever recorded this video, bro, you should be watching out for your safety. And if I were you, I would get us the screenshot and the timestamp of when you took that video. We need to know if that was close to 12:15 or 12:20. Holy shit, that's our shooter. Tyler's the patsy. Tyler's the patsy. The FBI guys.
Yep. And that's where I'm going to stop that. Absolutely. Yes. No matter how this pans out, at the end of the day, Tyler is the patsy. He's not the shooter. I feel so confident in saying that. I really do. But I mean, again, a possible another shooter. Now, they're also, I'm wondering, right? Because we're seeing a lot of these videos. Look at this guy with a gun. Look at this guy with a gun. Look at this guy with a gun. Well, we are in Utah, like, right? Are we in Utah? I believe it's in Utah. What's the gun policy around there? Do they carry and do all the things like Texas and, you know what I mean? So, like, I know New Hampshire doesn't have a license to carry anymore. We can carry whenever we want. It doesn't matter. So is it a situation like that where you're just seeing people, maybe they heard the gunshot and they were like, this is my time. And so everybody who had a gun on them just started pulling out their guns. And they were like, I'm not letting them shoot any more people. You know what I mean? So I don't know if we're seeing a lot of that or if we're actually seeing the people that possibly could have shot Charlie Kirk. There are many possibilities. But again, so many people caught on film running around with guns. Look at this one. And when you look at this one, you can see the circle in the gun. There he is. Yeah, see, he's running away and he has a gun in his hand. How are we supposed to literally sit here and say, well, this guy must have been the shooter because he's holding a gun? Now, where is he in the crowd? It's somewhere right over here. But as you could see where the camera was with the person holding the soda, that person was in the crowd running, it looked like towards the stage. I'm telling you right now, we're capturing a lot of people trying to be heroes. I don't think everybody that had a gun in their hand could have been the possible shooter. I think that needs to kind of calm down. Although, if we had an autopsy and the ballistics on the bullet, we might be able to actually link it to a gun. Do we have that information yet? Oh, right. No. So we're just going to keep saying everybody with a gun in their hand is a possible Charlie Kirk shooter, which is insane to me. So they're still looking at Charlie Kirk's security company, who they're really associated with is Israel. Okay, so this video here is zooming in on all of his security detail from all different angles and how they were looking at their watch, hat signals, hand signals, and supposedly there was a guy over here that pulled the trigger and shot him. Now, this is the gentleman that is standing behind him, and he is part of this group. Okay, this group is also Jocko's in this group, which really does bother me. But experience is underestimated. Body cam behind the badge, Federal Bureau, 20 years. Greg is the author of a best-selling book, Stay Safe. He's been a federal bureau. He was with the FBI for 20 years. Now he's with the Schaefer Security Group. The Schaefer Security Group has the Lion of Judah, which is Jewish national. So linking the Israeli Jewish to it. Echelon Front is the company. And so these gentlemen have the co-founder and president of Extreme Ownership, former Navy SEAL for Jinsa. I mean, there is enough to kind of, for Jinsa, and Jinsa is also a Jewish Israeli corporation. So, and there's the guy of that security detail shaking hands with Netanyahu. So, I mean, is it possible that he really started pissing off Israel by standing up to him and being upset at what he saw because he went to Gaza? So all the people that said you can't talk about Gaza unless you go to Gaza, he went. He saw. And then he was disgusted. And he was very open about it. So, I mean, the guy literally did it all right. He was doing it all right. He did everything that you guys wanted. He went there. He only talked about it when he went there. He was against it, but his eyes were open from what he saw. And yet when people follow your rules, this is where we're at. And that's what pisses me off the most. I mean, sure, whatever. The kid thing. Got it. So, if that's really the worst thing in the world, man, you need to figure something else out. Are you even having kids? I mean, it doesn't affect me one iota. It affects my nieces, nephews, and everybody else, but we have to let them figure it out, man. We're not going to be able to figure it all out for them. We're not. All right, so this video here is showing the microphone from a different angle, and it's interesting because it looks like he actually turns it on, which makes me wonder if it was what we think it could have been. Was it not activated until he hit it? Thinking that he was like turning on the mic, because I do believe that's a mic for his security. That's not a mic to project, because my friend was like, no, he put the mic down. I go, no, there was a mic on his shirt that was communicating with other people. It wasn't a microphone for public speaking.
Everybody, I'll tell you what. All 5 of them. We're taking this country back, everybody, I'll tell you what.
Right there. Watch his hand.
Let's get started. God bless Utah. Yes, sir.
Right there. Right there, dude. He pressed it. So if it's possible, I don't think that guy, well, it is possible that the guy with the phone could have activated it. But what if that thing was on a timer? And as soon as he hit whatever he hit when he pressed it, he definitely grabbed it and pressed it like a button. What if that counted? What if that timer started right then? And there was nobody to press a phone. There was nobody shooting from the roof. There was nobody shooting from behind him or to the left of him, or all these military signals or nothing. There was nothing. It was literally maybe them signaling themselves to, hey, he pressed the button. This shit's going down. I don't know. But I will say that there are a lot of possibilities out there of what could have happened. So now we're looking at this movie. I don't know if you remember it. It's called Snake Eyes. It's kind of creepy. A lot of things correlate with what happened to Charlie Kirk. And the way that this movie's set up, it's almost identical. So I don't know if it's a coincidence because I don't believe in them, but I thought this was very interesting. Check it out.
Snake Eyes, there's a tremendous amount of predictive programming regarding the Charlie Kirk psyop. The main character that's murdered in the movie's name is Charlie Kirkland. He is killed by a single shot in the neck on September 10th. Charlie Kirk was killed by a single shot in the neck on September 10th. No coincidence, 2025 is the year of the snake. This movie's called Snake Eyes. The movie's marketing has Nicolas Cage making this hand signal, the same one that Donald Trump and Elon Musk made at Charlie Kirk's memorial. The central plot in Snake Eyes centers around a corrupt deal with Israel. One of the conspiracy narratives surrounding Charlie Kirk is that he started turning against Israel. Heavyweight boxing champion named Lincoln Tyler is involved with the conspiracy surrounding the assassination of Charlie Kirkland. The name Tyler derives from the word tiler, one who lays the tiles, like the Masonic system laying tiles on the black and white checkerboard, creating psychological operations, psyops, to move and manipulate the world through mind programming. In the movie Fight Club, Tyler D orchestrates a terrorist attack called Project Mayhem. What is predictive programming? It's a revelation of the method that happens ahead of time so that when something happens in real life, the public accepts it more easily because they've seen it before. The tagline for the movie Snake Eyes is believe everything except your eyes. So much is coming out regarding the Charlie Kirk assassination psyop. Tons of AI was used. There's theories about his wife, Erica Kirk, being involved. Something just doesn't feel right. So everybody, let's not just believe our eyes, but let's think a little bit. Why is this all going on? What is the bigger psyop behind this psyop?
Pretty crazy, right? It's pretty crazy. I think I saw Snake Eyes when it came out. So I would have to rewatch that. Unfortunately, that movie has completely escaped me. I don't remember it at all, but Nicolas Cage looks so young there, so I had to have seen it when I was younger. I mean, just think about that, right? Don't believe your eyes. And all of those dates, everything, and the actual problems that were arising between him and Israel all correlate? Whew, that's something, everybody. That is something. It's definitely not nothing. Now, here's another fun one, all right? So, possibilities of Charlie Kirk being alive. Yes, of course, it has to be a possibility, everybody. This is always the way it goes. So they're saying that they did it with holograms. They are capable of doing a lot of things today.
All of you have noticed.
With holograms. But I'm not so sure, and I'm definitely not sold on this theory. But what if, right? So let's follow it.
Online, that a lot of people are talking about, why are these people allowed to be in this canopy? Why isn't this marked off and taped off as a crime scene? And why is this guy in the white shirt taking the most very important camera down? What you think is the most very important camera there, why is he taking it down? Well, here's why. Because it's not a crime scene. A crime didn't take place here, and that's not a camera. Now, before I tell you what it is, I want you to get a real good look at it as he's taking it down. Anybody figure out what it is yet? Okay, here's what it is. It's called a hologram projector. And if you don't believe me, you can go look them up online. And they're not cheap. They're not cheap. Usually $20,000 to $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 for these things. And they come in different varieties. Now, Hollywood calls them hologram stage projectors. Now, you see how Charlie's little tent there is a perfect square? And as you can tell, it's 10 foot squared, 10 foot all the way around on each square, and it's about 9 foot tall. That's because it has to be for the projection to work. Now, let's explain.
For smaller spaces, the projectors can be configured with mirrors to elongate the projection path and maintain picture integrity. Eyeliner displays ideally require a minimum footprint of 10 feet square and a height of 9 feet to show full-size human figures. What you are seeing is a reflected image which is so true and realistic to the original, it has become known as a virtual image. Many people perceive what they are seeing now as a 3D hologram. In fact, it is a 21st century take on a mid-19th century visual effect known as Pepper's Ghost, showing now on the relay screens. Thanks in part to the amazing optical properties of the eyeliner foil, combined with the light and picture output of Christie Digital high-definition projectors, the image has depth and opacity that actually supersedes the scale and definition of traditional 3D hologram.
Like I said before, 10 foot squared, 9 foot tall. This canopy was made this size for a purpose because it is a hologram stage projection that you guys were watching.
These performers are holograms.
Every series, we take one step closer to achieving all of the sci-fi dreams.
It's pretty cool. You'll never have to miss a gig again. The gig can come to you.
What? We traveled to Paris to meet Ian O'Connell, director of the company that put this show on.
I recall we were being asked to produce a show from London to Florida where the interaction between the musicians and the audience would be as natural as two people being in the same room. And for all of us, it was an experience that we'll never forget.
So how do they beam this band in live?
It's incredible that this really is a remote live gig. The signal from London takes less than a third of a second to go all the way around the world and be projected as a hologram on the stage in the US. As well as the hologram making it feel like the band are actually in the room with the audience, the band can see the audience and actually interact and respond to what they're doing.
Okay, dude. I had no idea that we had that extreme of a technology with the hologram thing. That's wild. So, I mean, those people were in London on a stage in Florida, and that looked pretty damn good. That did not look grainy, no glitching, no, you know. So if that's possible, the possibilities of what we were just discussing and the size of that pop-up tent, I guess it could be possible that he was never there and it was all hologrammed. And what? We were faking our deaths so to get Israel off our back? Get away from the control of Israel? I mean, wouldn't that be grand? But to go with the hologram thing, they have been doing this for quite some time now, and it's actually not as difficult as I thought. And this was done on television, which we all know how TV magic works, but still really, really shows you the capabilities of this technology.
So I want you guys to watch this video right here.
Are we all together
watch the lady
in this
on the
room?
far right.
Are we? I feel
And
like
I want you to
we're
really
connected
think hard
at some point, but
about the Charlie Kirk incident.
for anyone watching, can you guess which one of us
These
is
holograms are
really
getting out of
here?
control, guys. Check that out on the right. She was a hologram. But look how real that is.
I'm the one in love.
It's crazy.
I love.
Dude, it's so creepy, isn't it? That's so creepy. You're watching that TV show, and they're like, which one of us is a hologram? And it turns out to be the one all the way to the right. I can't remember her name because, fortunately, I don't put any of these people up on pedestals, so I don't think their names are that important. To me, don't care. I don't care how rich and famous you are. And if you're not giving me the money, then I don't care about you. Just got to get out there and get my own. I don't put anybody up on a pedestal because it's not worth it. It diminishes myself, I believe. But that is really, really cool, isn't it? The fact that you can be sitting there watching TV and they're just like, yep, she's leaving the show now, and it was all hologram. So this is another reason why people believe that Charlie is possibly still hiding out, because this video here shows. Now I'm gonna enlarge it and zoom in a little bit here. You can see. Oh. So right around here, they're saying he lifts his head. Now, it could have been. See, they're saying he's holding his head up. Now, I don't know if you've ever picked up anybody who has passed out, been knocked out, not in control of themselves at the moment, but when you're carrying them, is it not a possibility that that person on his side there was holding about maybe shoulder, arm, maybe got the underhook there and just held him up, and then took his other hand and pushed his head up so they didn't smash it off the side of the door? This one was a little difficult for me because I watched it multiple times, and it looks like he's lifting his head or holding his own, but then you can also see that guy's only got one arm under him. So what's his other arm doing? Is it lifting that head, making it seem like he's lifting his head or holding his own? I'm not sure about this one because of the simple fact that possibility does kind of hang there for me. So the connections keep getting weirder. The things that Kash Patel say, it just has us leaning towards it's a possibility that he could be alive. Now, once this one plays, we'll go over another detail that makes me think that this is still not quite the truth, but sure. Could we have some fun with it and hoping that he's alive still? I mean, if you're not hoping he's still alive, then you're just a dead person inside. There's certain people that pass away, and for a long time, Elvis, name some other famous ones that have died, and people still believe they're alive, and they're out there. And then we get to a year where they should have definitely died, and they should no longer be on the planet. So why wouldn't this be the same thing? He was only 31. We're going to be wondering if he was still alive until, well, a good 50, 55 years from now. Because technically, maybe he'd be dead at 85, 86. So this could go on forever. And we're just at the beginning of it. But listen to this.
These connections keep getting weirder and weirder. So right at the end of this press conference where Kash Patel announces that they caught Charlie Kirk's killer, Tyler Robinson, Kash Patel ends it with Charlie Kirk, "I'll see you in Valhalla."
Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Now, what's interesting is that one of the pictures that they put out of Tyler Robinson shows Tyler Robinson in his bedroom next to his computer. On the computer is a picture of an island. That island is called Goat Island, and it's located in New Zealand, that has a retreat called Valhalla. Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
That's just weird.
And the only problem I have with this one, again, is that I looked into this Valhalla thing, and it looks like it was also an ancient heaven for Vikings. So instead of saying heaven, he said Valhalla. Is it possible that it's a place where he's hiding out? It's a witness protection thing, in New Zealand, or is it just his way of saying heaven and it just sounded better? Again, you said it, so it's got to mean something, but does it mean the Viking tradition of heaven, or does it mean he's hiding out in New Zealand at Valhalla, the resort? I don't know, but again, interesting stuff. When you dig a little deeper, we're coming up with trapdoors. And you're like, trapdoors, what are you talking about? So look at this, okay? I'm going to make this bigger. No sound because it's all music. And they're going to show you. Now, this is weird. Trapdoor, new footage. Look, there was a trapdoor where his tent was. They're saying, look, what are they doing down there? So were they picking him up, or were they sliding him into the trapdoor? And did they use the trapdoor to get his body to the car? Is that how they got the body to the car so quickly? But, I mean, if there was a trapdoor, what was it for? So it's very interesting to me that we are seeing possibilities. Everybody is going to find anything, any type of possibility that it can at the moment in time right now. That's what's going to happen. So we just kind of got to run with a little bit of everything, because that's how you kind of decipher what's garbage and what's not. And I don't know, the trapdoor thing kind of showed up, and with the tent not there, it doesn't look like the exact same area anymore. It would have been better if, like, somebody had gotten a picture of the trapdoor as they were, like, removing the tables or something. But just seeing a trapdoor on the ground there in the possible area that he could have been in, is that how they got to the cars really quickly? Did he escape through there to make it look like he got killed? Is this a complete and absolute cover-up to get away from Israel? I don't know, everybody, but, man, we've got a lot of possibilities and a lot of possible shooters, and Tyler still isn't the one. So let's see here. We're going to play this video real quick, because this just talks about a little bit deeper about the Valhalla stuff. So I like to listen to all of it, you know?
Long and short of it is that you're on his stage. You know, when you hide, you go into witness protection. There's different ways you can create an identity. It's much easier to have a shared identity. And do you allow them free somewhere, or do they go to what we call Valhalla, some holding place that's not able to be in communication with the rest of the world, but as a community, and then you can bring them out later on.
Rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
They go to what we call Valhalla.
See, and that's the thing. Valhalla means two different things. So which one is it? Which one is it? Because I do believe the majority of people are leaning on the place to go and hide. That's what they're leaning on. They really, really are. And I don't blame them, because a lot of people still want Charlie Kirk to be alive. So that's when this video popped up this morning. That's right. And it is September 30th. So this popped up this morning. And again, thank you, Miguela, Elijah, Hugh, and everybody for allowing me to use your content on my podcast. I greatly appreciate it. But is this Charlie? I mean, it is very, very, very close looking. Now, I'm not one of those people that does the facial things, but my God, man, if this is him, this is crazy. This video was just taken. So it's just a zoom in. Just a zoom in. Wow. I mean, if that's not Charlie Kirk, he's got one of the best doppelgangers I've ever seen. So, I don't know, everybody. Could he? Could he be alive? Could it be the shooter on the Starks building? Could it be the microphone exploding? Could it be the Israel military security? Or do you still believe it's Tyler? Well, right now, I guess everybody else is still believing it's Tyler, because today's September 30th, 2025, and he's going to court tomorrow. Oh, no, today. Today, it's Monday. I keep thinking it's Sunday. My bad. So I think it's crazy. I think the whole thing is crazy, man. It's just a bunch of crap. So this is some of the stuff that he was saying about, Israel to kind of paint a broader picture. He really was changing his ways. And I think that's when I started really liking him, because anybody who's against Israel, Palestine, Gaza, everything that's going on right now, Ukraine, Russia, those are the people I like the most. And I thought that's what we were going to get, and we didn't, but here we are.
How did these guys not know this was taking place?
So I've been to Israel many times. The whole country's a fortress. When I first heard this story, I still had the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that's an IDF soldier, right? The whole country is surveilled. And so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel was on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu was basically redefining the Israeli constitution. That's not an exaggeration, right? He said the judicial branch has too much power. There were protests planned this week against Netanyahu, where they anticipated tens of thousands of people to take to the streets. That's all gone, Patrick. Netanyahu now has an emergency government and a mandate to lead. I'm not willing to go so far that saying that Netanyahu knew or there was intelligence here, but I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand down order? Was there a stand down order? 6 hours? I don't believe it. Israel's the size of New Jersey. When I took a helicopter ride from Jerusalem to the Gaza border, it's 45 minutes. Wow. 6 hours. They're live streaming the killing of Jews. Did somebody in the government say stand down? That is a legitimate, non-conspiracy question.
Yep, 100%. And this is some of the stuff that got him in some deep, deep hot water, man. Just pushing back on Israel. Just going to play these back to back right now because it's good stuff, man. He was pointing it out, and I believe they wanted him shut up.
And the Israeli hard-right government has a mandate. I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. Yep. I mean, I don't use that term lightly, okay? They're talking about basically removing 2.5 million people from there, okay? And honestly, they have a mandate to go seek justice and revenge. They do. This idea that they need to have a truce or a peace treaty, that's morally crap after you see women and children be burned alive and dragged to the streets. But there are some serious questions here, Patrick. And let me tell you, my pattern recognition over the last 5 years has become pretty sharp. COVID, Maui fires, Epstein. When I see a story and it doesn't click, our guts are usually right.
Like I said, he was pushing back. He was exposing what was going on. He was saying, I've gone, I've seen, I've done it. And I'm seeing terrible, awful things. And they're lying about their, 6 hour ceasefire and this and that, which we all found out they were, So he was definitely on to something. Look, at the end of the day, man, when people are trying to expose corruption, these are the people I like the most. Anybody who is exposing this, and, you can sit here and, sit on your couch and say that we're heading towards fascism. But the only difference between blue and red is that you feel like when we shut you down, we're stopping you, and when you get in there, all you do is stop us. So it's just this back and forth, and you know who suffers the most because of all the back and forth? It's just us. We just get caught in the middle of it. It's like mom and dad arguing, and we all get run over every single time. So maybe we need to really think about what we're voting for when we're voting, because you're not just voting for blue or red. You're supposed to be voting for what's best for us. And if all you keep focusing on is the blue and red side, no matter what, we will always be the losers. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it has to be red all the time. I'm not saying it's got to be blue all the time. I don't agree with what we have. You know what I mean? I just found out we're not even a democracy. We're some type of a republic who uses democracy. So that was a little bit eye-opening as well. So at the end of the day, everybody, let's find out the most information and try to make the best educated votes that we can to try and benefit ourselves. Now, the problem with that is, real quick, they don't always do what they say. So, I don't know. Sometimes you can't always go with that either. So, it's a very tough thing that we do, you know, voting in our politicians and hoping that they're going to take care of us. And again, I'm not saying I'm extremely happy with the way things are going today, but then again, I still am happy with my decision. Now, this was wild to see because you do not hear this a lot, and I wanted to play this. I thought this was very interesting.
Y'all, listen to this guy. Crazy what he says.
Poor people of America. Not because they are weak, but because they were the first to see the machine from the inside. And I'm about to defend the working class of America like no one ever did. And by the time I finish, you'll see them with different eyes. For over a century, the American people have been fighting back. They have. Through civil disobedience, whistleblowers, grassroots movements, union strikes, and the relentless invocation of their constitution. The real battle wasn't red versus blue. It was corporation versus constitution. And every time the people gained ground, the system adapted. You have to understand something very important. When a system becomes parasitic, it doesn't destroy its enemies first. It destroys the host. And America has been the host. America was also the test lab. They were first to be flooded with addictive pharmaceuticals, first to be buried in weaponized debt, first to be psychologically fractured by engineered identity wars, first to be entertained into sedation, and first to be punished. Because if Americans woke up fully, it would be game over for the machine. That's why the system doesn't fear a foreign enemy. It fears the awakening of its own people. The American people are a hero, but no one told them they were living in the dragon's mouth. And what you're witnessing, in the collapse of trust, the social chaos, the inability to distinguish truth from manipulation, isn't because the people have failed. It's because the people have been systematically broken and then blamed for it. They are not the tyrants. They are the first line of resistance that's being crushed preemptively, so the rest of the world won't get any ideas. So what now? Do we abandon them? Do we mock them? Or do we finally recognize that behind the opioid crisis, the obesity, the division and the rage is a population in mourning? Mourning the death of its sovereignty, its family structures and its purpose. The question isn't whether Americans deserve to be free. The question is whether they'll remember that they were born to be.
Everybody, that is wild. Wild to hear somebody from another country say that Americans are heroes because we are in the dragon's mouth. And we're trying to fight against this, and they just keep using all of these things to tear us down. And I never heard it put that way. I've never heard it put that way ever. And it, you know, it felt kind of good to not be part of the moronic, you know, entitled American that usually is how I believe we're seen everywhere around the world. And to actually see that what we're doing here shows the rest of the world that it can be done. And if it gets dismantled and destroyed, the rest of the world is going to fall right in line, which is what they want because it gives the full control. All right. So this is what could possibly happen when, you know, you shut down social media. I think this would probably be the reaction in America as well. But check this out, man. This is wild. And then the best part is how they picked their new leader.
Did you see what's going on in Nepal? Nepal felt threatened because they felt like the youth was going to organize against the government, so they shut down all social media, Instagram, Facebook, all of it. And you know what they did? They burned the governmental house down. They killed the prime minister's wife. They overthrew their government, and they just reinstated a new prime minister. An entire country overthrew an oppressive government. They don't want the people to see that that's possible, and regardless if that's
wow.
Yeah, go look this stuff up. The Nepalese government was completely overthrown by the youth, who have elected a new prime minister on Discord.
What? They elected their new prime minister on Discord. I've always said that if we could figure out a way to do the voting on our phone, I mean, it would be probably even better. You know what I mean? I know there's voter fraud. I don't want to get into that discussion. I'm so tired of it. Don't give a fuck about voter fraud. There's always voter fraud, you morons. Just because the word comes up doesn't mean we have to get into the fraud part of it. But if it was to go to a point where, like, basically November 2nd, you know, every 2 years they're like, oh, voting, bring. And then 4 years, voting. And it's an app on your phone and it pops up and you vote. I don't know. Figure out how to secure it. Like I said, there's always voter fraud. If they lose again this time around, they're going to call voter fraud again. They always call voter fraud. They're calling voter fraud when we're getting rid of mail-in ballots. Well, we should be getting rid of mail-in ballots. It was for COVID. COVID's dead. No one cares. So everything that came with COVID needs to go away. Because the only reason it was here is because of it. And we all found out it was all unnecessary. Anyways. So this, man, we're going to get deep into something pretty scary. What's going on with the Muslim movement, everybody? Have you been seeing this? Have you been watching this? Have you been watching the 2 states that have been taken over in the United States? Have you been seeing what's going on in England and all over the world? I think this is where it's going, and I was actually a little bit off by blaming everything on Israel. But I don't feel like I was wrong because but I don't feel like I was that far off. He may not be the end-all, be-all, but they're definitely a part of it. But check this out, man. This is wild. Wild stuff. Wild stuff.
Of the United States. The title of the plan is مذكرة تفسيرية للهدف الاستراتيجي العام للجماعة في أمريكا الشمالية. You all got that? An explanatory memorandum for the general strategic goal for the group, the Muslim Brotherhood in North America, written 5/22/1991. Understanding the role of the Muslim Brother in North America. The process of settlement is a civilization jihadist process with all the word means. The Ikhwan, which is the Arabic word for brothers, must understand that their work in America is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying the Western civilization from within and sabotaging its miserable house by their hands and the hands of the believers so that it is eliminated and Allah's religion is made victorious over all other religions. They don't mince words, do they? But the most important page of this document is the last page. They list 29 front Islamic organizations set up in the United States with the specific goal of sabotaging America from within and destroying America by our own hands. Number 1 on the list is ISNA, Islamic Society of North America. They are now advisors to President Obama about Middle East policy. So we not only have the fox watching the hen house, we have the fox inside the White House dictating policy in the ear of the president. As a matter of
Why are you
fact,
clapping?
we in the United States have 150 terrorist organizations right now operating in America, and these are the ones we know about.
Dude, that's fucking crazy, man. That's absolutely crazy. And this is unfortunately it's very true. The amount of things that are going on right now are so intense. And this supposedly was passed at the same time that Charlie Kirk was shot. And it's the House just passed a bill punishing politically motivated boycotts of Israel. And if you didn't know anything about that, then you also didn't know that TikTok has gone 80% American, I guess. And they are retraining their algorithm, and they fucked it all up, everybody. That's right. The best part about TikTok is absolutely destroyed. And now the things I used to get censored for, transphobia, transgender talk, negative, positive. It didn't matter how I talked about it. They just shut it down. Well, now that's okay. But now if I say anything about Israel or what they're doing in Gaza or anything politically against them, TikTok's going to shut it down. So TikTok's dead, everybody. They killed it. It's not going to be what it was. As soon as it becomes fully Americanized, it's garbage. I mean, it was pretty garbage anyways, but the things that we all liked about it are going away. The hashtags have changed. The filters have changed. The way you go into the algorithm is changed. Now everybody is super suppressed and making no movement on TikTok, just like everywhere else. I wonder why. Why were you capable of doing certain things, adding a million friggin' hashtags and actually popping off on TikTok with the old algorithm, and now all of a sudden all of those people are suppressed? I don't know. Is it because our government loves suppressing everything? I believe so. All right, so we're just diving more into this because it's continuous. There's so much on this. I want everybody to have their eyes open and be looking.
Muslims, they are very dedicated to their religion. They're so dedicated that they name their kids Muhammad. Christians don't do that. Christians aren't naming their kids Jesus. Jews aren't naming their kids Satan.
I guess at the end that one's a little bit more on the funny side. Jews aren't naming their children Satan. But they are. Like, they are extremely obsessed with their religion, was my point to this one. And they will do anything to spread it. And again, this is why I have a problem with this shit. They want to make it the best religion, the only religion. What is wrong with you motherfuckers? Who cares? Why do you want everybody on the planet believing and thinking the way that you think? Isn't that a boring fucking world? Fuck, man, it makes me so angry. But check this out, man. It goes deeper. It's going deeper.
Hamtramck, Michigan, Muslim. Mayor of Dearborn, Michigan, Muslim. Mayor of Richardson, Texas, Muslim. Vice President of the Minneapolis City Council, Muslim. U.S. House Representative, Muslim. U.S. House Representative, Muslim. U.S. House Representative, Muslim. New York City mayoral candidate, Muslim. Minneapolis mayor candidate, Muslim. Islam is the third largest religion in the United. Around 6 to 8 million Muslims in U.S. 2,769 mosques were counted in the 2020 U.S. Mosque Survey. The number of mosques has nearly tripled since 2000. Around 300 Islamic schools in the U.S. About 30,000 Americans convert to Islam per year. In 2023, Muslims became the majority in Dearborn, making up approximately 55% of the city's 110,000 residents. Major urban centers, especially in New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, Detroit, and Washington, D.C., conversion to Islam in large cities and in prisons have also contributed to its growth over the years. New Jersey has the largest Muslim population by percentage, with 3% of the total population being Muslim.
My dear fellow Americans, it's time to wake the fuck up, because what's happened in Europe and in the UK is now happening in America. Your cities are being mayored by Muslims. And if you don't think this is going to have a ripple effect and then they implement Sharia law into those cities, you are extremely naive. It's time to set up some laws so they cannot take positions of power in Western countries. Like, I did not think I would see this in America.
Dude, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane that we are allowing this to happen. And I do believe New Jersey already passed Sharia law. So look into it. All right. This is happening. It is happening right now. It's happening under our noses at this very moment. This is very, very, I guess, dangerous for me to talk about, too. I don't really give a fuck, man. These people are doing something shady. They are implementing themselves. And we need to stop them. We need to stop Sharia law from getting into effect. I mean, they talk about how it's supposed to be this loving thing and whatever. And then you got these guys telling you how the wife should be cooking and cleaning. And if she talks back, this is how you hit them. Like, it's really, really dark, man. I don't like any of this. I hate religion. And if you're going to start making my rules and what I can do based off of religion and books, then I want nothing to do with it. Like, that's the whole reason. Like, the Christians and Catholics, like, it's guilt. You don't need to live in guilt. Don't we live with enough crap from day to day that now you have to, in order to go to heaven or do whatever, you got to fucking, give everything and do. Fuck this, dude. I do enough on a daily basis. I'm not giving anything more. And I'm not going to allow, I do not want us to allow, I'm sorry, Muslims taking over and doing Sharia law. It's crazy. What are we talking about? This is not how America is supposed to be. And she's right. I said it in the beginning. Europe, England, this shit is happening. They are changing things. We cannot allow it to happen here. I'm telling you, there is a point where inclusivity is too much. All of your inclusivity, we have to have these people, and we have to have these people, and we have to put these people in, and we have to put this in, because we have to be inclusive. That's what's doing this to us. I'm telling you, we need to pull back on this inclusivity of everybody, these ways that we've been doing things, and we need to go back a little bit to the way we were doing it, where we were actually hiring people for the jobs that they were capable of doing. And if you're getting into our government, you should be an American citizen. And I'm not saying that these Muslims are not, but hey, should they be allowed to come to the country and be part of our government if this is what they're going to choose to do? And they're not going to uphold our government. They're going to squeak in their own. So this is not Iran, everybody. All right, if you're not watching this right now, this is Dearborn, Michigan. This is what is happening, everybody. I told you, Michigan, I believe New Jersey are like the two right now. It is, if they hate America, why are they here? Because they want to take over. Look, this is very, very serious. This is happening right now. I'm not saying that I hate Muslims. I'm not saying that Muslims are all bad people. What I'm saying is that the amount of Muslims that we have in the country right now are starting to make a movement, and they're starting to shift our beliefs, and they're starting to diminish our America. But they want to be here, right? So you have to live by American laws. Sharia laws are not American laws, and they're very restrictive. And they take away everything that we built. How are we allowing this? How is this happening? in Michigan. Yeah, and Muslims in Syria are now burning down Christian villages one by one. This is insane, man. Just burning the place down. After the massacre of the Alawites and the Druze, they are systematically destroying Christianity because they want the top religion. And we are a Christian-based country, which is why when people go, oh, the babies, I go, Christians, stupid. And they always say the same thing. What do you mean? Anybody who's 100% Christian does not want one single baby to die. It's super simple, dude. They all think the same. It's kind of gross, but, I mean, you can paint a pretty broad brush with that one. Wow, dude. The ethnic cleansing is now happening right now while the West is shaking hands with the jihadist El Jolani. Yep. And look at him. So he's sitting there coming to our White House, shaking our president's hand, shaking our speaker's hands, whoever those other people were. And he's literally having them destroy Christianity back home. I don't feel like this is false at all. I think it's very true. I think it's super scary. And when you really start digging into this, the amount of information that you can find, especially in Europe right now, in England, is very, very worrisome. It's worrisome, everybody. Everybody should be worried about anything that could destroy our America. So what you have to do is you actually have to stand up for it and fight back. And we can't let this stuff happen. We cannot. Look, I'm all about inclusivity. I'm all about people moving here, living here. But you have to go by our shit, man. You're not changing our shit. You know what I mean? We like what we have, and nobody should be allowed to take that from us. But this is what everybody wants. Most countries want to see us fall. Other countries want to diminish us from within. They are all trying to take away what we have. So if we are to be the heroes that guy spoke of us so well in that video, then aren't we supposed to be standing up to this? But look at Michigan, man. Take a look. Dig into it for yourself. It is crazy. So I saw this. I thought it was really funny, and I'm going to play it because I think it goes with everything I've been talking about today. A real crow pulls down the Israeli flag from a rooftop. A shocking moment that came as tensions escalated between Iran, Israel, and Palestine. Some call it a coincidence. Others call it a sign from above. But check this out. Watch this. I thought that video was funny. I believe some people have said that it was AI generated. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have the original video, but I wasn't playing it because I thought it was real. Although it would be cool if it was real. And they did say that it was real, but I still have to question everything because AI is just way too good. But wouldn't that be absolutely hilarious if the crow at that specific time when they actually said that Palestine was recognized as a Palestinian state, and not that they were going to do anything with that, because the whole reason of doing that is to push back on the people that are doing what they're doing, but they just wanted to say it and then see if anybody else jumps on board. So it's, again, I'm going to do something, but I'm not going to do something. You know what I mean? It's just... But now other people are starting to get pissed. They're starting to get pissed at us. So we'll see what happens. We need to wash our hands of Israel. And Ukraine is not winning the war there. They're not going to be able to get their shit back from Russia. I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore. I think everybody is absolutely retarded. So this video here, man, is about a guy who predicted all the world wars. Now, check it out. This is the fun part. All of the world wars, by the way.
Did you know this man, Albert Pike, in the 1800s predicted every world war?
Oh boy.
Also the Third World War. He was in the Illuminati, but there was a letter that was found. He wrote down basically the game plan of what the Illuminati was going to do for the 3 world wars. The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the czars of Russia and making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. At the end of the war, communism will be built and used to destroy the other governments in order to weaken religions. The Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel and Palestine. During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance the Christendom, which would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need for final social cataclysm. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and the political Zionism, the State of Israel, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on the issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism and the most bloody turmoil. And the multitude, delusioned with Christianity, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer.
Does that not sound like what we're looking at today? Is that not sound like almost everything I talked about? So, hey, if this guy predicted it, I feel like something's coming anyways. I'm pretty sure the majority of people out there today feel the exact same way that I do. It is a scary, fun, exciting, exhilarating time to be alive, with so much going on, maybe too much, but it doesn't go without saying that there are things going on right underneath us, and we are trying to figure it out. And my dog decided to come in. Lana. Hi, Lana. But you just got to be able to look into it. Look into Michigan. Look into all the Muslim stuff. It's very worrying. And don't worry. I don't think Charlie Kirk is alive, so I'm not that far out on the edge. But I will say that a lot of things that I discussed on here today have opened up my mind to more possibilities, and we'll see where it takes us. All right. And then I just want to thank everybody. As always, I want to thank all of my subscribers. You are the reason I keep coming back week after week, everybody. Thank you again for almost 5,000 subscribers, getting so close. If you are new, subscribe. If you want your opportunity, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. Send an audio, video, or type it out. Link trees in the description below the video, along with all of the links discussed on today. Don't forget about the mailbox, guys. Instagram, Facebook, and Cryptid and Kin on Instagram. And I do hope everybody out there has an amazing rest of your Thursday. I hope you enjoy your weekend. And as always, I will talk to you next week.